I've now completed relaying the inner loop. I've stuck a couple of box fans to try and illustrate the elevation or the banking that I've actually put onto the two curves. If I zoom in, hopefully that will pick it up. So as you can see, the curves have been banked right the way along, and if I move those two wagons out the way, out the shot, you should hopefully be able to see these two tracks curving round through the bridge. And if I now come up a little bit, and you can see that they actually join back on to the existing track on the other side of the bridge. I'll just actually come out a wee bit. There we go. So that's then complete under the bridge, and then we come along back along. You can see I've started to prise up the middle island platform, and we come right back to the point work here. Again, the second point is now put in. If I move that locomotive out the way, I have installed the second point. The track on the other side, if I come round, now you will see there is a track there on the inside. That's not an actual, that's going to come back up. I cut it late one night, and I'm not actually terribly happy with the join down here, so I'm actually going to lift that. It's not been wired or anything, so it's relatively easy for me to actually just simply lift the bit of track out, and I'll cut a new piece, because obviously the outer loop, it's absolutely fine, so I'll cut a new piece for the inner loop. So that's the next job to be done, and the second point here still has to have a point motor put back onto it, so that's another job. And obviously the area, sorry, not the area, the inner track that I have just relayed, if I pick it up correctly, that's that one there. I've obviously still to fix the wiring underneath. The wiring is just hanging down at the moment. So as you can see, as I said in one of the earlier videos, you'll see all the track pins. The track pins do appear, and they do take away from the concrete sleeper track at the moment, but as I said in the earlier video, they are only temporary. Once the track has been painted and once it has been ballasted, the track will not go anywhere, and these pins can then be removed. The holes that they leave in the sleepers will be easily disguised with a little bit of weathering from the paint. So I say I don't know whether or not I'll weather the track at the moment. I think I'll try to concentrate on all the relaying, so at the moment the pins will stay where they are. They aren't totally driven in. And obviously you can see, to do the banking, the way I do it is very, very simple. These are just very small slithers of offcuts of card, and they're either single or double or triple, and they're simply put in under one side of the track to elevate it, with the track pin sitting to the bottom or the opposite side to where the card has been put in. Lots of people do different ways, but as I say, I've used this method before and it seems to work. Once the ballast is in, you will not see the card, and the card doesn't swell or anything when it gets wet. It will actually stay where it is. There won't be any problems to that. So I'll crack on and hopefully give you another update relatively soon. Cheers. Okay, probably about a week's gone by since the last clip was filmed, so things have actually progressed and I think what we'll do is we'll have a look and see how far I've got on with the rebuilding of Blackwood. So as you can see, I've actually laid the inner loop. So the outer loop has been relayed, has been rewired, and the inner loop has now been similarly done. The two lines, or the two passing loops that will go through the station, as you can see, they are relayed up to the new points. As I said before, I was going to put a new set of points in, so that's in actual fact done. And then you can see obviously where the track stops, so that's the next section of track after that point. That's obviously got to be relayed back. The other thing which you will notice if I come around this way is Blackwood Station and Blackwood Town is no more. I have completely stripped the whole town out. I think probably better if I come back a bit. I think that's better so you can actually see. So as you can see, that's been completely removed. All the buildings have been saved bar one, and that was the actual mainline station itself. It was the very first building that I ever fixed onto the layout, and I think I was over generous with the glue. There was absolutely no way it was coming up. The other structures, apart from some minor damage along the bases, they've all been recovered and are safely stored away. And as you can see, where the Class 66 is sitting, that is sitting where we had the old bay platform, and I haven't fixed a bit of track, but I have stuck a bit of track in just to make sure that these two lines, if I zoom in, there we are, so you can see where just in front of the Class 66 where the line eventually ended in the bay platform of the station, and there's the end of the bay platform on the other side of what was the main station building. So it's a simple case of connecting those two tracks up. That being said, this track that you actually see going through between those two sets of pillars, that will actually be relayed. It won't be relayed with concrete track, it will just be relayed with wooden sleeper track. And you can see also the track coming out of the motive power depot. Now that originally was an alteration, and the track is not actually particularly well laid. I've never had any problems with it, but I will take the opportunity of properly relaying it. I've set off for, it will still be a very, very tight bend. I think it's probably going to be the equivalent of a second radius bend, so I've sent off for some track setter templates to assist relaying of that. And then if I come back out, you can, I think if I actually zoom in, just where that point is lying in the track setter templates, you'll see a line drawn on the baseboard. Now that's essentially where the new retaining wall will come up. As you can see, just right there where that bit of card's lying, that's actually the start of the road that came down the ramp. So it will come along, obviously not coming down a ramp, it will come along level, and I've measured, it's 4 inches I require to come out from, oops, I'll go the other way. It's 4 inches to come out from that back baseboard. So I've put in I've sat in low relief shops there, so there's enough room there for low relief shops, a footpath in front of that, a road, and then a footpath on the other side, and that will of course come right the way along here, and it will join up with the road on the other side. So the overriding factor in all this rebuild was to widen the platforms at Blackwood Station. So using my super duper handheld pointer, this area here, the platform measured just under 30 millimetres in width, and now I've measured from here over to here. The new platform will be almost 60 millimetres in width, so it's doubled. Similarly on this side, again the platforms were only around about 30 mil wide. Again, they won't come right up to this line here, they'll stop somewhere here, but they'll probably still be somewhere around about 40-45 mil. And that is really what I was looking for, was to make the platforms that bit wider. So the platforms will certainly be able to have some buildings put on. At the same time, the curves leading out on this side here and on that side there are actually slightly less of the bends been slightly ironed out. They are more swooping curves, and similarly at this end where the camera is, the curves are quite swooping, which really looks good. I think when it's all ballasted and its track's all painted and the train's running over it, I think there'll be some quite good photo opportunities to be taken. So rebuild is progressing, still a lot of work obviously to do, but we're getting there slowly but surely. So I will catch you all soon.